In this video, I'm going to walk you through creating a blog tracker board. You'll be using this from a template in the Cardsmith template library. I'm saying add a new board from a template. I can click down here and grab this template library. What that's going to do is open the template library, which is actually a view-only board in Cardsmith. And I'm going to scroll down here to marketing and pick this card, blog post tracker, open that up. Click this. That's going to open another Cardsmith board here, and now I can copy that board, and that's going to put that board in my own account. So let me go ahead and call this my blog post tracker. I can copy the board and the layout, and here it is. So now I'm in my own Cardsmith board. And I can click on that, and here this is my particular blog post tracker. So let me just walk you through the idea of this board. Essentially, creating a blog post is a process. So you start out with ideas. You might look at the ideas and prioritize them. If you've got a team, you may kind of hash out which ideas are best to do for your marketing program and for your audience. And in our template boards, there's cards in here that start out. This one describes a little bit about this. It talks about the cards, and then if I add a new card, we've got a default card set up for basically adding an idea and then all of the information you need to know about a blog post topic that you're going to need to know at some point along the process. So if I put in an idea for a blog here, some of the fields you'll want to describe this so your team and yourself can remember what you were thinking here. Who will the author be? What's the title going to be? A key thing here too is to think about a focused keyword or a key phrase that you will want to use throughout the article that will support your search engine optimization. There's also a metadata description, in particular with WordPress. I know this is something you'll enter in, and that's a good thing to have as well for search engine finding you. I like to have a checklist for what we'll do with the blog post after it's written. So we're going to, promote it on these various social media channels. Maybe we'll submit it for a guest post to another blog and those kinds of things. Now, for us, we don't write blogs in Cardsmith, but what we do is we write them in Google Docs, and we put a link to the Google Doc in here. And then if I am authoring a blog post, or if I'm a designer that's in charge of adding images, we can add links to those images as well. So there's quite a lot of fields in here. Everything is drag and droppable. If you don't want something, you can delete it. Have your own checklist, have your own information. I think this is a good template to get you thinking, but you'll definitely want to customize it. If you want to not say you're never going to post to Google, you can just delete that from the checklist. You can add your own new item here. Even in checklists, you can drag and drop things and rearrange things. So when you get this the way you want it for your work, what you'll do then is set this as the default card. So set this as the default card, and then any further cards or future cards that you create will have that same field order, field information that you'll want to populate. And that's really key, especially if you're working with a team or even just with yourself, because you're going to want to make sure you do your blog posts the same way every time to ensure consistency and just to keep it stress-free and not have to remember everything. Okay, so the other thing to know about this board is that across the top is a process. So my columns indicate the process. Ideas get approved, they go into writing, an editor works on them, or maybe you edit them yourself, but we recommend editing as a separate process from writing. Adding images, reviewing it, especially if other people have worked on doing editing and image work. Finally, getting ready to post to WordPress or your blog. Final review of that in draft form by the author. and then ready to publish on social media. And finally, the blog is done. We're not going to do anything else with it. But you may want to come back here, a year later and see if there's information or things that you could do updates to or repost to other channels or media outlets. Okay, then the other thing here we have is we have rows, and you can add more rows if you want to. And this would be useful if you have multiple audiences or multiple topics that you're blogging about, and you can make sure you kind of have ideas in all the categories that you want to. I'm just going to delete that row. All right, so to get started, what I'm going to do, once I understand how I'm going to do this, I have my default card set. I'm just going to hit select these. I'm holding the shift key down. I'm going to just delete all of these cards and get started using this board. And I can delete these guys. So now I have a board the way I want it. Probably what I would do now is start adding all my ideas, start writing, and then at some point you're going to want to look at where you are. Now, I want to show you an example here of what a blog post tracker might look like in a really functioning environment where we're posting regularly and we make sure that if everybody gets busy, that we're going to have posts to publish on a regular basis. So let's imagine we're posting weekly. If I look at this board, you can see that um, I've got 4 cards here that are just about done, and that is great because that allows me to push things out, even if I am too busy to write new content. So I can move this into done, and then the next week I can move this into done. When this gets low, and you may want to come up with your own idea for how many blogs you have that are ready to be completed, you're going to want to start pulling things in from the right to the left. So you can see here things where you have a lot of information. Here's another view, and this is a little less functional. You can see here that um, we don't have a lot to do. Once we get this one and this one done, we're kind of starving ourselves. So ideally, we'd go back up and we'd concentrate on getting things moved. It looks like our designer has a lot of blog posts that have been written that are needing images. So maybe we want to go move some of those forward. If I'm the author, let me go ahead and get this going. So you want this to be kind of a smooth flow, and then in the ready to publish area, have multiple blogs ready to go. That's kind of your inventory of things that are sitting there in finished goods ready to be published. You don't want to have big long lists of cards. That's kind of like excess inventory. You can see here if my writer has 5 blogs being worked on at one time, um, they're likely not being as effective as possible because they're working on too many things at once. Now, if I had multiple bloggers or multiple authors, maybe this is just fine. In that case, I would suggest that you color the cards, writer number 1 is blue and writer number 2 is orange. I would still like to see a writer working on no more than 2 blog posts though at one time. So something like this is going to be a little healthier picture. You want to see things flowing through the board as opposed to big clumps of work backing up. Okay, so that's the blog post template. I hope this helps you get more blogs out, get better blogs out, better quality, and helps relieve the stress in creating blog posts by having a process and a standard way of doing things. Thank you.